Jai Gurudev. Hope you have all done your homework from last time. Today we will go deeper into the understanding of where did the ego stem from, where is its origin, and how to get rid of it. We have done the pool of consciousness process many times. You remember? If you don't remember, let's close our eyes and I'll take you through a quick recap of that. Let's close our eyes and sit comfortably. Take a deep breath in and out. And take your mind back to the beginning of this creation. This creation is beginningless, but to the beginning of your little existence, the existence of your I. You were in a pool of nothingness where there was no I. And then there was a little vibration in that pool. The vibration happens in the pool on account of its own nature. Its nature is Maya. And there was another vibration, and another, and another. Every little vibration that came up in the pool of consciousness was an attempt of Maya to awaken more Maya in you, the Maya of ego, the Maya of I. And you, who were a little drop in that ocean of consciousness, suddenly said, "Aha, I am different from this pool." This was the birth of ego. This ego then took on a subtle body because of its likes and dislikes. And then the subtle body manifested into the physical body, maybe initially as a stone, then maybe a tree, then maybe a microorganism, maybe an insect, an animal, and then maybe as a human being. You went through different life cycles only because of your desires, and all these desires were connected to the ego, I. That big I that came out from the pool of consciousness. Going through different lifetimes, you have developed a lot of conditioning. Conditioning is nothing but impressions collected on the way. Impressions of people, situations and things that you like, and impressions of people, situations and things that you do not like. You have a certain habit pattern towards each of your likes and dislikes, and that is nothing but mental conditioning. And that conditioning is what is called as Vasana in Sanskrit. All this is submerged in your memory box. Anytime this memory box, sitting in the depths of your unconscious mind, can be kindled by deep meditation. And that's how you remember your past life. The root of all this drama is just I, ego. I is the first cause. Recognizing this truth, make a sankalpa to your own self that in this very lifetime you will make utmost efforts to drop the I and experience that peace, that serenity, that silence of the pool of consciousness where you originate from. Take a deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in and let go. And when you feel complete, very slowly and gradually, taking your own time, you may open your eyes. So did that remind you of the big I, the ego that is the root cause of it all? Yeah. Homework number 1. You figure out what vasana or conditioning is there in you and you are not working to eliminate them. Figure out, oh, this person is my vasana, this particular thing is my vasana, and I'm not making an effort. Yeah? Once you recognize your list of vasanas, start making an effort in that direction. Yeah? So we'll read further now, page 314. Sikhidhwaja said, "Pray, tell me the exact nature of this chitta or mind and also how to abandon it so that it does not arise again and again." Very pertinent question, no? We all want to know the answer, don't we? We all want to abandon this mind that keeps arising again and again. Vasana. Memory, subtle impressions of the past or conditioning is the nature of this chitta or mind. So did you get it? He is giving synonyms here. Memory is equal to impressions of the past is equal to mental conditioning. Yeah? And in Sanskrit, the word is vasana. This is the nature of the chitta. Vasana is the nature of the chitta. In fact, they are synonymous. Its abandonment or renunciation is easily accomplished, more delightful than even the sovereignty over a kingdom, and more beautiful than a flower. So it is easy, he says. The abandonment of this mind or renunciation of this vasana is very easy. Homework number 2 for you. Do you think abandonment of vasana is easy or difficult? And the second part of that homework, if you think it is difficult, why is it that Vasistha is saying it is easy? There must be something that you are missing. Yeah? Contemplate a little bit. Go deeper within and see what is it that I am missing. What is it that does not allow me to see the truth that Vasistha can see? It is certainly very difficult for a foolish person to renounce the mind, even as it is difficult for a simpleton to rule the kingdom. Very important, huh? Till now we didn't speak about renunciation. We always spoke about you be in this world, be with people. But here he is not talking about renouncing the people, situations or things or your family and running away. Here he is talking about renouncing the mind. Big difference. Externally you do all your actions as they are required, but in the mind, don't let any action touch you. You do everything that is required with external situation, but if you have an expectation for something from that situation, it is touching you. So expectation is equal to karma phalam, is equal to your mind getting tainted by the external. So work on this, recognizing what expectations arise in the mind because of external people, situations and things, and how you can abandon or renounce these expectations from the mind. Because an expectation itself is a vasana, is a mental conditioning, and that is what will trap you, will always keep you entrapped and never let you get out of this cycle of birth and death. You get it? And expectations stem from where? From my own likes and my own dislikes. And what do likes and dislikes belong to? The ego. So everything goes or boils down to the same root cause, and the root cause is that first cause, I or ego. The utter destruction or extinction of the mind is the extinction of samsara, the creation cycle. It is also known as the abandonment of the mind. Therefore, uproot the tree whose seed is the I idea with all its branches, fruits and leaves, and rest in the space in the heart. You drop this I, samsara drops away. What is the meaning of samsara dropping away? Does it mean all these people, situation, things, house, a car, everything will drop away? Will suddenly disappear like magic? Whoosh! No. Samsara dropping away means you will not create any karma despite living in this samsara. Despite being a part of this samsara will not be able to touch you. Do you get it? We get affected by every little thing. You have a job, you're affected by a boss, your colleagues, by the work you're doing, by your project. You don't have a job, then you're worried about not having money, not having name, fame, status in society, etc., etc. This way or that way, there is always dukkha in the mind. Recognize that the root cause of this dukkha is not the job or not having the job. It is really my mental conditioning. My mental conditioning is the root cause of my dukkha, not the samsara, and not the people in the samsara, and not the situations in the samsara. When I recognize that the problem is my own vasana, I start working on it. The quicker I work on it, the quicker I am able to drop it. the quicker I am in dropping it, the faster I reach the silence of the self. Because the moment Vasana is dropped, I is dropped. That I idea is dropped. Yeah? So doership drops, no? And the moment doership drops, the wave unites with the ocean, becomes one with the ocean. And when you are one with the ocean, then you do not see the samsara as samsara. That is the meaning of samsara dropping away. Clear? And do you understand what are we renouncing here? We are renouncing all this conditioning that we are harboring within. Yeah? All this negative conditioning born out of I like and I dislike. That is what we are renouncing. The moment you renounce that, the mind also drops. Yeah? What is known as I arises in the absence of the knowledge of the mind, that is self-knowledge. This I is the seed of the tree known as mind. It grows in the field of the Supreme Self, which is also pervaded by the illusory power known as Maya. We did this in the little process we did in the beginning. Yeah? Maya is the nature of this consciousness. Yeah? It is an illusory power. Yeah? And the field of the Supreme Self is nothing but that pool of consciousness from which you came out. I was the seed. From that seed, the mind was born. Thus, a division is created in that field and experience arises. What is the meaning of division? I am separate and this pool is separate, or I am different and you are different. The moment I have I, you is born. Do you get it? It happens in the same instant. They are born together. I and you. Duality, Dvaitam is born together. Yeah? That is how experience arises. With this, the determining faculty known as the buddhi arises. Of course, it has no distinct form as it is but the expanded form of the seed. Its nature is conceptualization or notional, and it is also known as the mind, jiva and void. Yeah, very beautifully explained. So, pool of consciousness, the nature of the pool of consciousness is that vibration, which is the Maya. That vibration makes you feel, oh, I am separate, you are separate. The moment ego, the seed of ego is born, experience of you is born. And this itself is called the mind, the jiva, and it is also the buddhi. Because the moment the mind perceives, the mind also conceptualizes, processes that information, and that faculty is called the buddhi. So it is all instantaneous. Yeah. The root cause is I. Recognition of this root cause is the only way out of this cycle of birth and death. Homework number 3. Have you recognized that your ego is the cause of all the dukkha? All means all, everything. Nobody outside or nothing outside is the cause of dukkha. The cause of my dukkha is my own ego, the seed, the I idea. It is an idea. I really does not exist. Have you recognized this? The trunk of this tree is the body, the movement of energy within it that results in its growth, is the effect of psychological conditioning. This is very important. Yeah. Trunk of the tree is body means what? Root is not the body. Yeah. Root is basically that I. From that I, that root, or the seed is I. From that seed comes out the root. It transforms into the root. That is your vasana or conditioning. From the root comes that stem or the trunk, which is the physical body. The moment you have a desire, I want to be this, that's how you take on the physical body. So obviously the trunk or the stem has come from the root, which is the mental conditioning. And that mental conditioning has come from the seed I. Clear? That seed I is the first cause and the main problem here. So, if I have a tree which has fruit and stems and leaves and branches, and if I just keep tugging the fruits and branches and leaves away and cutting off the stem, will I be able to eradicate that forever? No. In some time, again, because the root still exists in the soil, that stem will again grow. Again there will be new flowers and fruit and branches and leaves. So understand this, by renouncing the world externally, by renouncing people, situations and things externally and running away to the Himalayas, what will happen? You are just cutting your external leaves, stems, branches, fruits, flowers, but that root is still in the soil. Yeah, and they will all grow back. So renunciation is not external. What do you need to renounce? That root, that which is buried deep into the soil, you uproot it and throw it out. And how will that happen? Only by recognizing that I, that ego, is an idea. It is not real. It is notional. It does not exist. I does not exist. The movement of energy within it that results in its growth is the effect of psychological conditioning. Its branches are long and they reach out to great distances. They are the finite sense experiences which are characterized by being and non-being. Its fruits are good and evil, pleasure, pain, happiness, unhappiness. Yeah, so the branches are sense of sight, sense of sound, sense of taste, sense of touch and sense of smell. These are the branches. And the experience of pleasure or pain through the particular senses are the fruits. Yeah. So if I see something beautiful through these eyes are the branches. And the fruits are that pain or that pleasure that I think I'm experiencing because of seeing through these eyes. Again, I say I think because really it is my mental conditioning that makes me feel that this is painful and this is pleasurable. A yogi reaches that stage where he recognizes anything and everything external has got nothing whatsoever to do with me. I am untouched. I am that pure space. Like you build this house in space, it stands for 100 years, 200 years, and then you destroy it. Did the space get touched, get tainted? In 200 years, n number of people lived in this house, made it dirty, made it clean, took care of it, didn't take care of it. N number of things happen, but the space remains untouched. Like that only a yogi recognizes that this is a house and I am that space. That space remains untouched. In a few years, if you're lucky 100 years, this body or this house will drop and get destroyed. But that inner space will always remain untouched. Next homework, have you come to this realization that you are that inner pure space that remains untouched forever? This is a vicious tree. Endeavor every moment to cut down its branches and to uproot it. Its branches too are of the nature of conditioning, of concepts and precepts and percepts. They, the branches, are endowed with the fruits of all these. If you remain unattached to them, unconcerned about them, and without identifying yourself with them, through the strength of your intelligence, consciousness, these vasana are greatly weakened. How do they get weakened? Number 1, you remain unattached. Number 2, unconcerned about them. And number 3, without identifying yourself with them. And how will you do it? Through the strength of your intelligence. They will get weakened. Yeah? Can you take up this sankalpa of working really hard on yourself and recognizing moment to moment that I am not the doer, I am not the experiencer. Let's start with this moment. You are looking at me. Really? See who is looking. Take your attention to your eyes. Squeeze them. Squeeze them hard. Now open them and look at me. Are you aware of someone or something looking through those eyes at me? Now take a step back and observe that there is really somebody or something that can observe your body, can observe the eyes in your body looking at me. Can you see that? Are you aware that someone inside always remains untouched? Hunger happens to the stomach. That someone never feels hungry. That someone just knows that the stomach is hungry and has sent the signal to the brain. That someone inside is not listening. That someone inside observes that the words of Ekta are falling on the ears and it is being processed by the brain, and the buddhi or the intellect is understanding it and either agreeing or disagreeing with it. And whatever you agree with and you like, you put in your memory box. What you dislike, you want to discard. You think that you have discarded, but it is somewhere deeper in the unconscious mind as a seed. That someone is untouched by this whole process. That someone is observing all this happen. Are you aware of that energy within? It is just embodied in this house called Ekta or Venkat or Mitesh or Shruti or Jayashri, but recognize that that energy is ever untouched. And you are that energy. You are not this body. So whatever happens to this body, how is it of any concern to you? No concern, no? Not my circus, not my monkeys. Yeah? Whatever happens to this body, let it happen. Yeah? This body has its own karma. It has come with its own set of karma milestones. And you are bound to meet those milestones because nobody can stop on the karma highway. It is an automatic car nowadays. There are some cars that drive on their own, right? The self-drive cars. So like that, this is a self-driven car which is driving on its own on the karma highway. You're bound to meet these karma milestones. Understand that you remain untouched. They do not touch you. They belong to the body. So whenever pain or pleasure arises, remind yourself, not my circus, not my monkeys. What is, is. Yeah. You will then be able to uproot the tree altogether. The destruction of the branches is secondary. The primary thing is to uproot it. How is the tree to be uprooted? By engaging oneself in the inquiry into the nature of the self. Who am I? This inquiry is the fire in which the very seed and roots of the tree known as Chitta are burnt completely. Yeah. Constantly recognize that I am that untouched space which is within this car and which is outside this car. This car is nothing but that which is taking me on this karma highway. Again and again recognize you are untouched. That is the only way to uproot it. If you're looking for another shortcut, there isn't one, huh? So let's read page 315 now. Sikhidwaja said, I know that I am pure consciousness. How this impurity or ignorance arose in it, I do not know. I am distressed because I am unable to get rid of this impurity which is not self and unreal. Kumbha asked, tell me if that impurity or ignorance, on account of which you are an ignorant man bound to the samsara, is it real or unreal? Sikhidwaja replied, that impurity is also the ego sense and the seed for this big tree known as Chitta or mind. I do not know how to get rid of it. It returns to me even when it is renounced by me. Doesn't this happen to you? Every time you feel, okay, today I surrender this vasana, I let go of this desire, I let go of this conditioning. And next morning when you wake up, the first thing that comes back to you is that particular vasana. So he's asking, how do I get rid of this impurity? Kumbha said, the effect arising from a real cause is self-evident at all times, everywhere. Where the cause is not real, the effect is surely as unreal as the second moon seen in diplopia. The sprout of samsara has arisen from the seed of ego sense. inquire into its cause and tell me now. I know you must have not suffered from diplopia ever, unless you have been under the influence of some stimulating drug or something like alcohol. But in diplopia, how two moons are seen, but really they do not exist, just like that. Where the cause is not real, means idea. It's an idea, right? It is not real. That is the cause. The effect is surely as unreal. Got it? So basically, even this entire samsara is unreal, because this entire samsara has come out of that idea. If that idea had not arisen in this little mind, and it had not given rise to vasana, and that vasana in turn did not give rise to people, situations and things that are like and dislike, this samsara would not have come into being. The samsara has come into being only because of that idea. That is the cause, and it is unreal, it is an idea. Like that only, this entire samsara is an idea. It's not real. Yeah? So the sprout of samsara has arisen from that seed of ego sense. You inquire into it. Without your inquiry, you will not be able to get out of it. It is not an intellectual inquiry that he's talking about. This is very important to understand. One must meditate. One must go within and make an attempt to go beyond those vasanas and that mental conditioning deep inside and experience that peace, that softness of that silence within. When you touch that core in your meditation, you attain samadhi, where you can experience that you are nothing but a ball of vibration. And not just me, but everything is a ball of vibration. Everything is just vibrations, vibrations, vibrations. And you can go deeper into this state, just like a scientist can break down an atom and even see the space between two electrons. In meditation, you can experience that silence that exists between two individual vibrations. Yeah, there is an absolute peace. That peace, that silence within, that is the core of the being. Everybody's core, not just mine, not just yours, but everything, even an inanimate object has that silence as its core, and that can only be experienced in meditation. Yeah, so this inquire that he's talking about, inquire into its cause, this inquiry is the one that you do in meditation, not intellectually. Do you get it? Every scripture is just a signpost. It's telling you again and again, go within, go within, go within. Yeah? Our problem is we don't like the darkness within. We don't like the silence within. The mind does not want to be in the state of no mind. That is why we are not even able to start this journey of inquiry. Yeah? The day you start tasting that nectar of silence within, then there is no looking back. You will never ever want to be a part of this samsara again. So really, if you have to strive for tasting that nectar. And that striving, the process of striving, is spiritual inquiry. That is the only way to get there. Sikhidhwaja replied, O sage, I see that experience is the cause of ego sense. But tell me how to get rid of it. Kumbha asked again, you are able to find the cause of effects. Tell me then the cause of such experience. I shall then tell you how to get rid of the cause. When consciousness is both the experiencing and the experience, and when there was no cause for the experience as the object to arise, how did the effect or experience arise? Yeah, that's a googly, no? Basically, everything is the consciousness. Yeah, from the consciousness, there is that Maya arising. From the consciousness itself is Maya leading to a subtle body and a physical body and the creation of samsara. So, the one that is experiencing is also consciousness. The one that has been created from this experiencing is being experienced, and that is also the consciousness. Everything is the consciousness. Yeah. So, Kumbha says, you tell me first what is the cause of such experience. When everything is that consciousness, experiencing and the experience, and when there was no cause for the experience as the object to arise, how did the effect or the experience arise? How? How did that first experience of that vibration or that Maya even arise? Sikhidhwaja replied, surely on account of the objective reality such as the body, I am unable to see how such objective reality is seen as false. Kumbha said, if experience rests on the reality of objects like the body, then if the body etc. prove to be unreal, on what will experience rest? When the cause is absent or unreal, the effect is non-existent and the experience of such an effect is just delusion. What then is the cause of objects like the body? Do you get it? Yeah? You are dreaming. And you are saying, oh, in the dream I experienced this. But whatever your this is, you're trying to find the cause of that. You cannot find the cause of that because the dream itself is unreal. This also, the experience of this or that in your dream was also unreal. The cause is also unreal, the effect is also unreal. It does not exist. So how can you find something or some object as the cause? There isn't one. Yeah? Sikhidhwaja is just going round and round in circles. The second moon is surely not unreal because it has a cause, which is the eye disease. The barren woman's son is never seen, and that is unreal. Why is not the father the cause for the existence of the body? Kumbha replied, but then that father is also unreal. That which is born of unreality is unreal too. If one says that the first creator is the original cause of all subsequent bodies, in fact, even that is not true. The creator himself is non-different from the reality. Hence, his appearance as other than the reality, that is this creation, is a delusion. The realization of this truth enables one to get rid of the ignorance and ego cells. This is very, very interesting. Yeah. You see, have you recognized that all this is just delusion, illusion? It's just a play. And have you started playing? Or are you still taking all this very seriously and getting affected by it and doing all the drama in your mind and in your life outside? The sooner you realize that it is a dream and you need to wake up, the faster you will be able to wake up. Now, the decision is yours. Do you really want to wake up? Are you tired yet? Ask yourself these questions. Very important. You don't have a very long time on this planet. You don't have forever to come to the answers of these questions. Yeah. Now make it fast. Hurry up. There is an urgency, and recognize that urgency now. Yeah. I leave you with this thought, and I'll see you next week. Jai Gurudev.